everyone. I'm back with another podcast. I know I just talked a lot about college advice and tips and habits. And for this one, I really just want to give you guys my thoughts on advice that I can give you before you transition into the corporate world. Things that I personally believe in so strongly. And with that, let's just get right into it. So, the first piece of advice I have for college grads is to treat relationships as long term investments. What this means is take a good look at every single friend you have around you right now. And ask yourself, do they add to my life or do they take away from it? And that is a hard question to ask. But when you are in the real world, working a hard job, 40 to 40 plus hours a week, the last thing you need is people who bring you down, who do things that you don't want to do if you don't want to go out, who, when you tell them your goals, they don't really care. They're more just relax. If you want to be that way and you like hanging out with those people, that is okay too. It's just when you ask yourself the question, does this person actually build me up or do they bring me down? And if somebody brings you down, slowly start distancing yourself, because relationships are everything. And you want to invest in relationships that constantly push you to be better. Now, the second piece of advice I have for you guys is to take networking very, very seriously. And I say that with confidence that LinkedIn, you need to learn LinkedIn. You need to be able to love LinkedIn over Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and YouTube, whatever else you're on. LinkedIn is a professional network that everybody should learn how to use, because that is where most people get jobs. That is where people find who works at different companies. That is where you have one place in the world where you get to brag about who you are and what you accomplished and what you're doing and who you're working for and your promotions. It's literally meant to brag about what you are doing with your life. So learn it. Look up a YouTube video of how to leverage LinkedIn. Basic video. I bet you there'll be a 5 to 10 minute video in there about how to leverage LinkedIn. Learn LinkedIn, network seriously with people that you want to work with, ask to put time on their calendar to pick their brain, and you will be so much farther ahead than most people because you decided to prioritize your professional career over always just going out and having fun. Now, the third piece of advice, that was weird, third piece of advice that I have for you guys is to become mentally and physically strong now, so that when you do start your full-time job, you already feel ready and you feel like a winner. If you come to your job and it just hits you like a truck, that is perfectly okay. I mean, I felt when I started my job that I was not fully ready, that I was not 100%. I was scared, as most people are, but I feel like I could have prepared myself so much more mentally by reading books. I could have sat in silence more and meditated. I didn't have to go over there like hum or whatever people think meditation's like, but just got comfortable with doing boring things. Because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know many jobs in the world that people love. A job, it puts money on the table, it rewards you if you do well, and it gives you structure to your life. But everyone knows it's not like the end-all be-all. This job is my everything. Maybe it is, but I would say the majority of people it's not. And once you have that mindset of I just want to grow in my career, I want to become so strong and so sharp mentally and physically, so that when challenges arise that first year on the job, I am ready for them. That is the mindset you should have going into your first job, your first day. You need to think about that. When is my start date? Okay, what do I need to do now to help prepare me for that first day so I can hit the ground running? That's what I would do, and I wish I would have done it, but I hope you guys don't make the same mistake I did. Now, the fourth piece of advice I have for you guys is mastering small talk is a skill you must have. And especially mastering small talk with older people. Because when you start in the corporate world, you are now a freshman. You are now a freshman in college. You're not a senior anymore where you're the kings of the campus. You are now going to be in elevators. You don't have to give your elevator pitch, but you're going to be in elevators with people of authority, with people who have been there and done that and have families and raise kids and make twice, maybe 3 times as much money as you do. So being able to say something more than just, how was your day? Good. How was yours? Good. That is so lame. Ask an open-ended question. Oh, what did you get into this weekend? Oh, okay. Well, how is that? What makes you interested in that? And having a conversation with someone for literally 30 seconds to a minute is so valuable in your career because it gives you a brand. It makes you come across as someone who's more mature, who's ahead of people in their own cohort or in their own whatever asset of life you want to call it. It just makes you so much more valuable as a person, being able to master the ability to small talk with all people older and younger than you in any asset of your life. So how do you do that? On campus, talk to strangers. And I don't mean that in like a weird way. Say hi to a stranger. Just do it. Do things outside of your comfort zone. Wake up earlier. Feel more confident. Feel like you're accomplishing things. Do so many difficult things that just saying hi to someone in an elevator and starting up a conversation with them is easy. Do these little things, these little challenges every single week. Make it a challenge of, okay, I'm going to talk to a stranger 1 time a week. Just say, hey, how was your day? Good, good. Okay, and then ask them a follow-up question about it. That is where you are going to build that small talk, that personality, that brand that you actually care about other people just as much as you care about yourself. Okay. Now, the last piece of advice I have is that do not fear being bad at something. That is perfectly okay. But in those moments, you need to ask for help. I mentioned this before in my previous podcast, but the people in corporate or in the real world, that to me and to many others that I've seen so far that are successful are not just the ones that work hard. They are the ones that realize and put themselves in their shoes of thinking to themselves, I'm a freshman in college. I know nothing. The world's my oyster. I know nothing. So yes, I'm going to go put time on this manager's calendar. I'm going to put time on this account executive that knows so much more than me, or this SDR that knows so much more than me. I'm going to put time on their calendar because they know this job. They know what post-grad is like. They know the mentality of how work is way better than I do. You have to put your ego aside and realize that you don't know anything. And even if you do think you know a lot, you're behind. Get that out of your head that you know a lot. You should always be thinking, I don't know enough. There's always someone that can teach me something new. And that will help you in your career so much. It will make your transition to the real world so much easier. And I just really am rooting for you guys and hope that all of this helps. Okay, so the 5 pieces of advice. Number 1, treat relationships as long-term investments. Really take into account who in your life is building you up. Number 2, take networking very seriously. Learn about LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to ask people to put time on their calendar and pick their brain about mindset, life advice, career advice, how to interview. Just ask them. Ask them questions. Everybody loves to help out people. I would say most people do. So just don't be afraid to ask people for help when it comes to networking. Number 3 is to become so mentally and physically strong that any challenge that you have, you are just ready for it. And number 4, master small talk. Work on doing hard, difficult things so that little conversations with executives, with people higher up than you, become so easy. And lastly, don't fear that being bad at something is such a bad thing. Just ask for help. You're a freshman. Think of it as you're a freshman in the real world. You're a freshman. You don't know anything. You don't know better. You don't know anything at all. So just ask for help, and people are always willing to help if you are vulnerable enough to tell them that you look up to them, that you respect the way they lead, that you want to be better, and you just want to pick their brain. Just ask that. I want to pick your brain on how you go about your life, on advice you have for me to take the next step this year. Most people would be willing to help you with that if you can ask that question. But okay, everybody, I really enjoyed doing this for you guys, and I am going to continue posting 3 times a week. So I appreciate all of you. I am so excited to start this new goal of mine and grow this page and just even grow myself as I'm growing with you all. And I will see you next Sunday.